welcome. I'm Sandy Chi, and here's what happened this week. NASA is helping Taiwan and 4 other countries in the region tackle air pollution. Its most recent mission involved a flyover through some of Taiwan's best air and some of its worst. John Van Triest has the story.
All systems go. NASA has sent this DC-8 aircraft to East Asia to study where the region's air pollution comes from and how to make the air in this part of the world better. Today's mission, Taiwan. The crew has spent the day flying zigzags across the island, taking samples at different altitudes, comparing the fresh air of Taiwan's sparsely populated east coast with the often smoggy skies of the industrial west coast. It's the first of what the team hopes will be several flights over Taiwan, testing the air on different days in different weather, all as the project moves between the Philippines, South Korea, Malaysia, and Thailand.
Taiwan has a very advanced air quality, atmospheric chemistry community. But what they don't have is a flying laboratory. There's, the DC-8 is a unique thing. It's the largest flying laboratory in the world. And so we have strong connections with the scientists in Taiwan. And so they invited us to collaborate with them. And we said we'd already picked our 4 cities, but they suggested that perhaps we just overfly them a few times, and we said we'd love to try and do that.
One of the focuses of this flyover was the Kaohsiung-Pingtung area in the south of the country. This area has some of Taiwan's worst air quality. The government has its own program to study the issue, but the NASA data is helping them to form a 3D map of what pollutants are where, and whether they come from primary human sources like cars or form later from chemical reactions in the atmosphere.
The local scientists helped us design our flight pattern. They have 2 projects going on right now, and so this is why we're studying the southern half of the island. They said we have 2 field campaigns going on. If you fly at these altitudes, at these locations, you'll be sampling directly upwind from where we're monitoring.
Onboard labs have fast-working, high-tech equipment that is already giving the scientists some interesting data.
So based on just this one day of data, we can clearly see that Taiwan is closer to Seoul chemically than it is to Manila, as far as the type of pollution we found.
This kind of comparison is helping build a pollution map of the whole region. Many Asian cities suffer from poor air quality, but while emissions in each may be a problem, it looks like pollution may also move around, crossing borders and even open sea. Finding out where it's coming from is what this mission is all about. Justin Wu and John Van Triest for TaiwanPlus.
Spent firecrackers are littering Taiwan's public spaces. It's a sight seen every year following the Lunar New Year as people get back to work. Philip Broussard reports.
The smoke is cleared following this year's Lunar New Year celebrations, but left behind are the remains of burnt-out firecrackers. At this park in Yilan County in Taiwan's northeast, volunteers and sanitation workers have been clearing more than 5 garbage bags a day full of firecrackers, some not yet exploded. But firecrackers are a big part of local customs, as the explosions are thought to scare away evil spirits, stopping them from continuing into the new year. But the problem isn't limited to the Lunar New Year holidays. In December last year, police stopped a temple parade in the southern port city of Kaohsiung after the public complained about the smoke. There are more eco-friendly options like audio recordings or paper-free firecrackers, but at the park in Yilan, some people think the best way to prevent pollution is to stop it at the source. Taiwan can punish people for littering under its waste disposal laws, but that doesn't solve the problem for the people left cleaning up after everyone else has had their fun. Yisun Chen and Philip Broussard for TaiwanPlus.
Search and rescue animals work hard at their job saving lives. And just like their human counterparts, they can look forward to a cozy retirement after years of service. And as one veteran pup's career winds down, another is just beginning. Reese Ayres reports.
Rolling into retirement. Former search and rescue dog Guang is living his best life after 5 years of service. But despite officially handing in his badge last year, Guang can't quite shake off his instinct to work.
他会突然间耳朵立起来或者怎样，可能就是有人开铁门或者是煮东西在沸在逼那个水壶那种。
A decorated veteran, Guang worked on some high-profile cases, including a 2020 Black Hawk helicopter crash that killed 8 military personnel. But regulations say service dogs must retire when they reach 8 years old. However, a new generation of patrol pups are close on Guang's tail and have already started training. This 1-year-old mixed pup, Ye, is currently the star pupil in his class and is learning skills that will make him ideal for search and rescue operations.
我们会做它的地形的适应性，然后还有对人的亲和力的提升，然后还有它的鼻子对气味的反应。
Saving lives is no easy task, so training starts early for pups in service, who can take their exams as soon as they're 18 months old. But handlers say most dogs aren't ready until they're at least 2.
真的很难啊，不可能说我一只犬只就是这样子到18个月就马上可以让它通过测试，也是要看犬只的特性，还有它的能力，再加上就是我们领犬员慢慢的去努力增强自己。
Search and rescue dogs need to have a keen sense of smell and high levels of obedience to make the cut. Skills that will help them quickly locate people in a disaster, particularly important in countries like Taiwan that are prone to earthquakes. As these pups continue honing their senses, veteran Guang can continue enjoying his well-earned retirement. James Lin and Rees for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's aging population issue doesn't only apply to humans, it's also hitting the country's pets. Animal shelters are struggling to cope with the long-term care of their elderly residents, as Rees reports.
With limited mobility and suffering from dementia, 16-year-old Lilu eats mush through a syringe. Just one of dozens of animals in need of constant care, living at this government-run shelter in New Taipei.
他如果躺着的时候，我们会帮他，就是手啊、脚啊稍微动一下。每天是要帮他挤尿。
Just like their human counterparts, Taiwan's pets are facing a crisis of age, as fewer caregivers try to cater to a growing number of animals requiring long-term care.
一般的动物跟需要长照的动物其实很大的区别就是它的活动力其实会下降。我觉得比较难照顾的大部分就是后躯瘫痪或者是卧床的动物，需要帮它翻身啊，或者是让它起来，至少坐轮椅稍微活动一下。
Staff at this shelter, one of just 8 such government-run shelters in a city that's home to over 300,000 pets, craft their own solutions to their residents' needs, such as homemade wheelchairs for animals with mobility issues and collision guards for pets with visual impairments. But scarce resources limit how much help staff can give on site.
人力有办法做到的部分，其实我们会尽力去做。需要进一步做到医疗打点滴或者是插鼻胃管那些，我们会后送到动保处去做进一步的医疗。
To help cope with an aging pet population, the New Taipei Animal Protection Office is planning to build a municipal long-term pet care hospital, though some veterinarians recommend pet owners and shelters consider more humane options for ailing animals.
We have met the owner that want to postpone as long as the animals can live. We actually have a scale that of the quality of life scale that we will perform, which is the 5H to M scale. The 5H is the hydration, heart, hunger, hygiene, and happiness. 2M means mobility, and does the animal have more good days than the bad days? And if the point is under 35, then I will suggest to do the euthanasia.
As Taiwan's 4-legged residents age alongside their owners and shelters begin reaching capacity, animal lovers will be forced to consider when's the right time to say goodbye. Andy Xue and Rees for TaiwanPlus.
A wildlife organization in Taiwan is teaching people with disabilities to care for injured animals. The goal is to give them a new skill set and the chance to make animal friends. John Van Triest has the story.
This injured owl is among several animals returning to the wild. They're the Taichung Wild Animal Protection Association's latest success stories. The association has invited a group of people with developmental disabilities from neighboring Nantou County in central Taiwan to help with its release program. But some of the animals, like this eagle, need lifelong care. And the visitors from the care center are here to help give these animals the love and support they need too.
老鹰其实危险的不是它的嘴巴，是它的脚。对，所以我们会戴手套嘛。那等一下再抓它的时候，我会直接把它放在你的手套上面。举高。对。好。好，可以，可以。
It doesn't take long for the volunteers and the animals to get acquainted.
可以增加他们生活体验，可以改变他们的心境，这个是帮助他们的。他们来照顾动物，我相信对动物照顾也是好的。这样两边互相帮助之下，我觉得对整个野生动物保育是有正向的提升。
After learning the basics of caregiving, they'll volunteer once a month to help feed and clean up after their new animal friends, giving them an important role in the protection of Taiwan's wildlife. Chris Ma and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Bakers and brewers may have Taiwan to thank, as researchers identified the island as one of the birthplaces of a particular kind of yeast. Reese Ayres has more.
Deep in the forests of Taiwan, a team of researchers collect leaves to take back to their lab. They're looking for wild Saccharomyces cerevisiae, the species of yeast best known to brewers and bakers around the world. Technically a form of fungi, there are over 1,500 species of yeast, but this one is by far the most used in science and food production, and is among the earliest domesticated organisms. It's a key ingredient in the making of beer, wine and baked foods, also used for preventing or treating diseases in the gut, and researchers say Taiwan played an important role in its evolution.
整个东亚，包括台湾，都算它的发源地啊。只是冰河期的时候，本来多样性也很高的发源地被冰所覆盖，所以很多品系在那时候就被灭绝。好，但是台湾的阔叶森林在冰河期其实是没有被冰所覆盖，所以就代表说这些品系有被留下来。
Studies show that Taiwan has some of the richest genetic diversity of yeast species in the world, which can be found growing wild in forests across the island. Indigenous groups like the Amis in East Taiwan have been using yeast to make wine for generations.
正常就是它开始长这个菌毛，就是表示成功了。
Yeast is at the heart of billion-dollar beverage, bread and probiotic industries across the world. And Taiwan's geographic isolation and subtropical climate make it a perfect nursery for one of humanity's most cultivated organisms. Alex Chen and Reese Ayres for TaiwanPlus.
Colorful lights are decorating the streets of Taiwan's oldest city as it hosts the 2024 Taiwan Lantern Festival. Philip Prasad reports.
Celebrating 400 years of history, the southern city of Tainan is glowing with lanterns and light displays. 2024 marks the first time the city has held the annual Lantern Festival in 16 years. It features installations by 30 foreign and domestic artists, each showcasing Tainan's colorful history and culture. Tourists and locals on break for the Lunar New Year holiday have been enjoying the displays, including Tainan's mayor, Huang Weizhe, who has assumed the role of tour guide.
在这个老街上面不仅有这个古色古香的庙，旁边有古色古香的餐厅。这个餐厅就是这个米其林必比登推荐的。
Other than its long history, Tainan is also famous for its cuisine, home to popular dishes such as beef soup, pot roasted noodles, and fried oysters. Drone and fireworks shows will also feature in the festival over the Lunar New Year holidays, with the event due to run until March 10th. Ryan Wu, Reese Ayres, and Philip Broussard for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching Here's What Happened. Finally, check out these images of cherry blossoms in Taichung, central Taiwan. I'm Sandy Chi. Take care and see you next week.